So I'm going to talk about how to make a very simple addition or subtraction equation from a story problem. And we're going to do that using pictures. Pictures are very helpful in this case. And those who went to Harmony last year may remember a model drawing from last year. This is exactly the same thing. So let's take a look at this problem. And on this problem and on the problems on the homework, they do the pictures for you. So that makes it really easy. Janine went to the beach 22 times during July and August. 6 of those times were in August. How many times did she go in July? So using UPSI, which is a method we use at school to do story problems, I like to have them circle the numbers that they see and then put a box around anything any words that are useful. I would say July and August, and then August and July separately. Those are useful. Now let's take a look at this diagram here. So we have a 6, and we have the letter D, and we have 22. Now, according to this, she went to the beach 22 times total. And I'm putting labels on here just to understand what this picture means. You don't have to do it on your homework, but I'm doing it to illustrate what all of this means. So we have 22. She goes to the beach 22 times total for July and August. And then it says 6 of those times were in August. So there's a 6 here, so this must be the times she went during August. And then it's asking us how many times she went in July. But we don't know that, so that's why there's a variable here. That's why there's a letter D. So this must be July. Okay? So we're going to make an equation out of this. Now, this is something you have to do on your homework. But once you have this picture, it's really easy. There are several perfectly valid equations that can be made from this picture. One thing I like to do is to take note of the fact that all of this is equal to this. We have this box here, and then we have this 22, which represents the entire quantity. So if I put an equal sign, this would go on one side, whatever's on here, and this would go on the other side. So 22, this is 22, so I can just put 22 there. And here I have 6 and I have D. Well, I want to know the total of those two, so it would be addition. So it'd be 6 plus D equals 22. So that's one equation. Another way I can look at it is I can say, well, 22, if I were going to take 22 and I would subtract D from that, I would be, or excuse me, if I were to take 22 and I was going to subtract 6 from that, I would be left with D. So if I took 22 and I took away 6, I would be left with D. Likewise, if I started with 22 and I took away D, I would be left with 6. 22 minus D equals 6. All of these equations are perfectly valid. You just do whatever way makes the most sense to you. I like this way because I can just say, well, this equals this. But these are good too. So I'm going to take, I'm just going to pick one of these. I'm going to pick this one. I have 6 plus D equals 22. Now I need to figure out what D is. Now this is like yesterday's homework, which people pretty much found very easy. All I have to do is think, well, how much would I have to add to 6 to get 22? Well, I can find that out by subtracting 6 from 22. And I get 16. So D equals 16. And I used this equation, so 6 plus D equals 22. So that's what I would need to see on my homework. Equation and answer. 2 things. Okay? I'll do one more. Ariana has some crayons and her friend has 7 fewer crayons. If her friend has 15 crayons, how many crayons C does Ariana have? Okay, so they made this drawing for us. But let me circle some information in the problem first. I would say 7, 15, and and that's it. So Ariana has some crayons and her friend has 7 fewer crayons. So I'm going to put a box around fewer because that's an important word. And her friend has 15 crayons. How many crayons does Ariana have? So we don't know how many crayons Ariana has. So that is C. And we know her friend has 7 fewer than Ariana. So we have this blank here. And her friend has 15. We know that her friend has 15, and it's 7 less than Ariana. So these are crayons, and Ariana has this much more. So this is a variable that we need to figure out. So first we're going to make an equation. Well, I can make an equation exactly like I did the last one. 15 plus 7 equals C. This equals this. Or I can say, if I start out with C, and I take away 15, I'll end up with 7. Or if I start out with C, and I take away 7, I'll end up with 15. So I'm going to do this one. C minus 7 equals 15. Now, what do I have to, what can I subtract 7 from to get 15? Well, I can do that by just adding 15 and 7. I can solve that. 22. So C equals 22. So Ariana has 22 crayons. Her friend has 15, which is 7 less than Ariana. Just said 22 minus 7 is 15.